Hey everybody, how are you? Good evening. I want to welcome you to our Transition Tuesday virtual event, Got Stuff, Get Help. And I tell you, this is one of the most heavily attended because it's one that people need the most help with. So we are so excited that you are joining us this evening. We appreciate your time. We want to stay true to our time and be very prompt this evening. And I tell you, here's what I'm hearing in our Columbus, Ohio area. It sounds like we have some unusual weather coming in tomorrow. So my hope is that with the pending weather, maybe you will be able to apply some of the things that you're learning this evening because you're going to be at home tomorrow because of the weather. Maybe not, but we've got a great lineup of folks with us this evening that are going to bring some great information to you. And I am so excited and I am ready to get this rolling. Like I said, we want to honor your time and we are going to go ahead and get started. We've got Chris Davis with us this evening. Chris is with Auction Ohio. He's actually grown up in the auction business. And what we love about Chris is that he thinks outside the box and he does auctions differently than it's been done for generations past. So, Chris, we're so excited that you're here. Can you get us started and start educating our people?
Would love to, Jill. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's certainly my pleasure to be here on a wonderful Tuesday evening. And again, I have my coat on, so I'm ready for the snow whenever that happens. I'm going to show you a real quick video if you're okay with that, folks. And watch this video. It's going to give you a little bit of the story of Auction Ohio and who we are. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the process as soon as this video is complete.
I grew up in the auction business, in a family-run business. Probably the greatest gift that I took from that was not learning the auction business, but a work ethic. And I think that work ethic for us today is probably our greatest strong point. We built a company around that. Auction Ohio was founded in 1997 in Columbus, Ohio. At that time in the auction world, we began to see the differences and the changes, and we decided that this is how we're going to do it, and this is how it's going to be better. In a live auction format, the way that we used to do it, if we were to expect a buyer to show up at an auction, to park 3 or 4 blocks away, to walk to the auction, and then look at those things they wanted to buy, and maybe they would see the table they were interested in, and upon looking at that table, decided they wanted to try to buy it, but it didn't sell until later in the auction, and maybe that was 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So they've arrived at 9 in the morning and stood around, and it's time for the table to sell. It's time for their moment of glory, and someone outbids them on the table, pays more than they're willing to pay. They leave in frustration, drive all the way back home, and at about 6 in the evening, sitting around the dinner table, the conversation is a little like this: we're not doing that again. And that's the world we live in today. The first event that happened in our world about 5 years ago was we had a company that came to us and needed to sell some equipment. And prior to that, we had conducted many auctions in a live and an online format simultaneous. We had never done an auction that was just online bidding only. And so my comment to the owner was, I'll be happy to do that. I don't think it's going to be a very good outcome. And much to our surprise, when that auction was concluded, the prices were very, very strong. The experience was very, very favorable. It was very good for the buyers as well as the seller. And so we decided at that point that there's a reason to look at moving into an online auction format only. Things are changing and they're changing fast, and as a result, we've embraced that and we found a better way to be able to sell things. generation before, when your grandmother bought the dining room suit and she saved nickels and pennies and dimes, and when she saved up enough money, she went out and bought the dining room suit and she took it home and she treasured it. Every experience in life and family in that generation happened around that dining room table. Every memory that she had, every family sat down for dinner. That doesn't happen today, but that's what did used to happen. The next generation says it's just a dining room table. It's okay. I'm going to put it on Craigslist, or I'm going to put it on eBay, or I'm going to donate and give it away. I don't care. I'm just done with that. I'm finished with the table. With that challenge of what do I do with all of these things that are important to me, that have been my life? How do I feel better about selling those things? And opening up the world as the marketplace is a better way. And the world is the marketplace today, and technology has made that possible. We have the ability in all of our auctions that we do today to have somewhere between 2,000 to 5,000 unique IP addresses that visit that auction. My question to a seller would be, how can you bring that many buyers into your home to look at your possessions? We don't worry about weather. We don't worry about the time that the auction takes place. It's a better time because of evening times and the ability for buyers to bid at any time. It is altogether a better experience for the seller as much as it is for the buyer. Whether you are buying or selling, we are your trusted point of contact. AO Auctions is a one-of-a-kind auction experience.
So that video, as we shot that video, I'm actually going to bring up, I guess some of what I would call points that have been even more defined. So we look at, what COVID has brought, and there's a lot of things that have changed that have put people back in front of a computer screen probably more than they ever were before. So we have this group we call the COVID collectors now that, they found themselves working from home, or they found themselves out of, I guess the normal course of life, and they got a little bit bored maybe, or maybe they begin to think about what, those things were that was sitting in their home, and they begin to look around, and, a couple of things happened. A lot of folks said, listen, I am done with this stuff. I'm going to change this out. And so come get my stuff. And we had a lot more product hit the marketplace. And then we also had in that process, a lot of folks who decided that they were going to pick up and begin to collect that had never collected before. So when we talk about a better way or a better experience, the value in the better way is that naturally the world's the marketplace for your things. But we don't think that someone in California wants your everyday furniture. Probably not, right? And that's okay. Still value in those things. And maybe they don't want your toaster in New York, but there are collectibles that they do want that we ship out of the area. The majority of the things that we sell today, there's about 95,000 bidders that buy from us. Those bidders are Central Ohio, and so they buy for convenience. They don't buy because they can't find it anywhere else. It's just easy to be able to get online and to be able to shop those things that are important to them, things that they're looking for. And so we look at the ease of convenience for the consumer that really drives a model that requires that we change the way that we sell things. Again, I mentioned in the video, we used to pick up everything and carry it outside and put it in the yard. And we'd set a tent up in the portage on the food and park 200 people in the neighborhood. And, they would all attend the auction and stand in the front yard or walk through the house. And when we got done, it looked like a herd of cattle had just gone through. And so, it rains or it snows. It's never perfect weather. It just, the experience was good, but it's all that we knew. So we just have a better way. So we look today at a process that allows us to sell online. And here are the basic points I think that you need to know, that allow you to at least have enough information to begin to think about this as a process. Okay. And number one, we can sell things at your home. or we can sell things at our warehouse location. Those two differ in some cost based on the additional expense for overhead at a warehouse and the additional expense to truck those things to our location, but I'll address that in a second. The first is that if we sell it at your home, the cost is at its least in that world. So we literally come in, there's no sign in the yard, the address is not posted, your neighbors don't even have to know that you're doing it. We're going to sort and separate those things and photograph and describe those things, build that catalog, load it onto our website electronically, and let the bidding take place online. That auction itself has an end time. And so when that auction begins to end, there's dynamic closing, there's things that extend in bidding. It's not like a hard stop that you would experience in an eBay. It's a better way because of extensions that really just mean buyers can continue to bid as long as there's bids coming in with less than 5 minutes remaining. We meet the buyers there on one day to pick their things up, and we give those buyers the actual address. They're in our world as registered bidders. We know who they are. So they get that in their dashboard. It's not broadcast anywhere to the world. It's just in their dashboard. And then we meet them there. We handle the entire process, start to finish. In that, it's about 10 to 15 days if we do it at your home. And so you look at commissions that are going to run somewhere in the 35% range. It might be 10% on automobiles. It might be 20% on precious metals. It's going to vary based on what's appropriate for those things that you're selling. And the first step is, honestly, before we really begin to talk about the right approach, is to visit, walk through, sit down with you so that we can help give you the right information to make the right decision for you. But 10 to 15 days, your place, start to finish, right? The other is to take it to the warehouse. And that model, actually, in my opinion, it costs a little bit more, but there's great value in that. And here's the value in taking it away is that you don't have to live the experience of your things going out the door. It can be emotional as it is. Those things that you hold near and dear to your heart that you've tried to give to the kids and they said, yeah, do what you want. I really don't want them, right? You're trying to find the best home for those things. And so sometimes, even though moving those things to the warehouse is going to cost a little bit more money, you're not there living through the process. And it's better sometimes for the buyers in our world in a warehouse setting to be able to ship those things or give extended times for them to come pick things up in what, again, would be a better, more controlled environment. So that process can happen in, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Get the trucks scheduled. We'll drop off trailers. You can fill them. You can deliver that stuff to us if you like. But the goal in the process is do something. And I think that probably is the best advice I can give you. We all have to do it. We all are going to benefit from making that start by doing something, right? How do you eat the elephant in the room? You take one bite at a time. So we're here for you and available. You can check us out on auctionohio.com. Take a look there. You're welcome to give us a call. We're happy to come out and meet with you and walk through your home and help you make the downsizing process an easy process. So thank you, Jill. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Chris, so much. And my goodness, there's so much that we learn, right? I mean, every time I listen to Chris, I learn something new myself. Hearing tonight about COVID collectors, that's a new terminology, right, that we've not heard within the last year. The world is the marketplace. And I think that what's so great about that is that it really expands, hopefully, that buying power for our collectibles and things. We know that the process has changed, but what we still know is holding true is that it's still emotional. So, Chris, thank you so much for your insight. And can I just encourage you all that I want you to use the chat to answer questions at the end of our time this evening. We're going to open that up and we'll address those questions that you're putting into the chat. So please, when you have questions as you're going through our presentations this evening, jot those down in the chat so that we can monitor those, and then we'll come back and we'll answer those at the end. So Chris, thanks so much again for the great information. Up next, we have a very delightful lady, Miss Libby Patrick. Libby is the owner and founder of Blue Robin DownSizing. Libby has been a partner of ours for many years, and we're so grateful for her services. She comes with a lot of experience in helping people to organize their life and their workspace. And quite honestly, it's in her DNA to downsize and to organize. So, Libby, take it away. We're so excited that you're here with us tonight.
Okay. Am I on? Can you hear me?
You're on. You're on.
Awesome. All right. Well, I've just been introduced. So you know that my name is Libby Patrick, and I own and operate Blue Robin Downsizing. So welcome to this meeting, and thank you for taking the time to be here. Some of you may know me formally. Our company was One More You. If you saw me live a year or two ago or anywhere else, you may have some of my old business cards. But we are the same people, the same great service. I just rebranded last year, mainly because I always wanted it to be called Blue Robin. And so I just thought, yep, I'm going to do it. And I'm glad I did. I bet you have attended the meeting tonight because you need to talk about stuff. And I appreciate what Jill said. She's right. I've had several years experience of helping people get organized, deal with things around them to make their life more accessible, easier, simplify, more organized. And I was a social worker helping people with disabilities figure out things. So this sort of just became part of my DNA and part of my what I call divine appointment, because helping people with stuff just has kind of become my calling. I'd like to wish I could ask all of you and get responses, but I wonder how many of you feel very overwhelmed tonight, and you're watching this thinking about, oh my goodness, a basement full, 2 or 3 floors full, a building, whatever it is. And maybe some of you just feel stuck, and you're not alone. I see that every day as I work with people. And this wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for emotions that come into play with our things. And my tagline is breaking up with stuff is hard to do. And everybody I say that to, they laugh. They kind of think of the old song of, you know, breaking up is hard to do. But breaking up with stuff is hard to do as well. And there's no song about it to help us get through the process. Most of my clients are 75 and older, and they cannot make a move like this without help. And I really believe that the number one reason that Blue Robin Downsizing is successful is because we care very, very much about you. It's not just a number to us. Every single client that I meet with and we end up working with becomes so, so dear to me and to my team members. And I also think it's because we give you time. You know, I have a team, I have a box truck, and that's what it takes to get a major downsizing move to happen. I meet with you. We have to walk through, we have to talk about the details and what it is that you want to happen, need to happen. This is what allows me to put together a plan for you. And this also allows me then to put together the cost. So I would give you an estimate up front of what it will take to complete your project. Now, we may go from A to Z, or you may need to just pull various different services that you need that are your priorities. But that is the cost. It's based on the details that I find out when I meet with you. And then it begins. We start spending time together. Kathy has said, and I believe it's very, very true, for every year that you have lived in your house, it is going to take a week to get it cleared out. So that means if you've lived in your house 20 years, it's going to take 20 weeks. And so you can add that up if you have lived there longer than 20 years. Now, if you were doing it by yourself, very, very slow process. If you have a little help from family, that speeds it up. If you have a professional team come in, it speeds it up again. So it's something to think about. We help you, I say, from A to Z. So we come in, we can help you decide what you're going to keep, what you can't part with, and you want to take it with you. We pack that for you. I set up your move, and I can manage and oversee it if you need me to. And then we unpack and we put things away. Now, this is all very, very helpful, obviously, if you're making a move. Sometimes people are not moving. They just have too much stuff. They want to get simplified. So then, we don't have to set up a move. It's just getting those things to go out the door that you no longer want or need. But if you have moved, then you're going to have a lot of things that you need to deal with. I call it stuff. And it can be furniture, from dishes to whatever. These things have various categories, and they go away accordingly. You have things that you can sell. There's auction opportunities. I have private buyers that can buy right from you. Blue Robin, myself, I also can buy from you because I now have a really cool little corner in a awesome little antique shop in Johnstown, Ohio. So those buyers, I tell them what you have, and so various ways to sell your things. And then everybody always has things to donate. They're not valuable, but they're useful. So let's get them donated out there and pay it forward. Everybody has junk that needs to go away. So basically, it's a complete clear out if you are getting the house ready to go on the market. That's what we can help you with. I don't have a magic wand. Sometimes I wish I did. I've been accused that I have one, but it's just years of seeing this, and I can just walk in and look at a place and realize, okay, we need to do this, this, and this, and get it set up. Mainly, it takes a lot of work. That's what it takes. And it takes a team. And my team is awesome. Very, very proud of my team and love my people. We have a culture of gentle kindness. And some people say, well, what do you mean by that? That means we're not going to come in and just bulldoze and say, well, get rid of everything. You can't keep this. This is a slow process. If people have boxes of things in their basement, attic, bedrooms, wherever, a lot of times they haven't looked at them for years. And so it is going to take time because they want to see what's in there. They want to look at things before they let that box go. And that's what we help do. If you can't do this on your own, you need help. You need to get started. I'm going to put some information on the chat, my phone number. You can look at my website, Blue Robin DownSizing. I've got a cute little video on there that you can watch. It's a few of my clients that tell a little bit of the story. But don't hesitate to call. We are busy. Calendar's filling up, but the sooner you call, the more opportunity you'll have to get on the calendar and get ready, even if you're just thinking about it. So I just want to encourage you to do that. It is very emotional, and I think it's great to have some support of, we understand it is very difficult, but we're going to help you get through this. I think I've covered about everything. I'm sorry I didn't have like a PowerPoint up there, but any information you want to know that I didn't tell you, just send it in the chat and I will answer it. And I appreciate very much the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I wish I could see your faces. So hang in there. We'll all be back together soon, I hope.
Yes, that's something that we're hoping for, right, is to be in person. Libby, thank you so much for your insights, your information. I'm thinking that your Blue Robin downsizing, I'm thinking that color has to be a favorite color. It certainly looks good on you, girl. I love that color that you wear. Just as Libby shared with us, emotions are many times the driver in this process, and that's why we need help. We've had many clients that have used Libby's services, and they're so grateful. So I encourage you all, again, as Libby said, put some questions in the chat. We'll be back at the end and go through some of those questions with you all to educate you even further about some of those questions that maybe aren't being answered in our presentations here. But up next, we have another guest with us this evening, and we're so excited to welcome Michelle Rinda. Michelle is with Trading Places. Trading Places is one of the best kept secrets in Columbus, Ohio. Her place is located in Dublin. She's got a 12,500 square foot store that is ever changing, with selections and things that come into her store from unique to high quality, nearly new furnishings and home decor. It's a venue and a marketplace for sellers to showcase their furniture and their home decor on consignment, and to receive top dollar from those proceeds of sales. So Michelle, we're so excited to see the top of your head there and your hair. You did such a great job tonight. But welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm short, so I'm going to say that right now. So I'm going to try to give you a view of my store, and talk and not trip over anything. So welcome to our store. We're located, like Jill said, in Dublin, Ohio. We're right over by Lowe's in Dublin, by the AMC Theater, kind of a landmark for you. We have been in business for 11 years. We spent 7 years in Powell and quickly outgrew our store and moved over here to our Dublin store about 4 years ago. And I'm going to flip the camera around here in a minute. But just to recap real quick, like Chris said, COVID brought the COVID collectors out. I think what's happened in our store is we have the furniture hunters have been released because there's so much backlog and delay in furniture stores getting new inventory in, that our store has become really a key stopping point for many people who need to buy sofas and chairs and just things that they need to replace in their home, because orders are just pushed out so far in furniture stores. So now's a great time to sell your good furniture, because we've got a big demand for it. So I'm going to flip you around here. I'm going to try to do this and walk you through our store. But as Jill mentioned, we sell furniture and home decor on consignment. And the way that works is one of the things that Chris and Libby both brought up is there's so many ways to part with items, whether it's collectibles, big items, small items. There's a home for everything. And I think what our niche is those items that are in excellent condition, that you paid a lot of money for, or that you've just taken really good care of, that are in current styles, and condition of what people are looking for today. We have a lot of families that are furnishing homes for kids going off to college, first home buyers, replacing furniture. And as you can see, dining room is one of our largest categories. It seems like every request that we get is for dining room, because the dining room function of the home is changing, but we still have a lot of buyers that are looking for furniture. We've just become a little bit more selective in some of the items that we can publish and post inventory anywhere on our website, and we get people coming from all over the place to buy furniture and home decor. So for furniture pieces, we do ask that you send us some photos of the items that you're interested in selling, and whether it's a whole house full of furniture or an individual piece of furniture. We sell everything from bedroom, dining room, office furniture, lots of home decor. And that's kind of our bread and butter is our home decor, because everybody's coming in to pick up a lamp or a vase, things that you change out very often. So when you're interested in selling something on consignment, you would send us an email with some photos attached, and we would review those items and just make sure that we have a good fit for our marketplace. We'll work with you to get your furniture in here. We'll price it. We will act as your sales and marketing team, and hold the customer's hand as they come into our beautiful showroom, and really display that furniture and home decor so that they can see that in their own home. And that's kind of the beauty of our store. We have some great ladies on staff that do staging, and they run around here and flip the store around. So it's to accept all of those pieces. We don't so much accept small collectibles. We do on occasion, depending on what that is, or if you have a large lot of something, we're happy to review those kinds of things. But we do the home decor by appointment. You just bring those into the store, and we take a look at that. So right now, the outdoor furniture is very popular. And with all of our COVID hunters or furniture hunters coming in, our very, very big store has lots of room. So if you have furniture that you need to find a home for, we are ready to help you out. On our website, tradingplacesoh.com, you'll find all of the inventory that we have in our store. One thing that we do that's a bit of a unique, really marketing, I hope you can see this tag, and I'm not, let me get you here, is when we price an item, I'm so sorry. When we price an item, we do a progressive markdown. So we price that item starting, hoping to sell at the highest price, and then we progressively reduce the price of that item throughout the consignment period. And so what that does is it gives our buyers the opportunity to buy it now or to wait it out for that price drop. And I will tell you that get a good feel for how we price some of our items, or if you're looking at certain brands that you have in your home and what that may bring value-wise, take a look at our website. We are here to help you, and we would love to assist you in selling your furniture and home decor. Let's see if I can get back here. So, thank you.
Hey, Jill, we can't hear you, sweetie.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. I said, Michelle, this excites me so much. I want to know, can I put a hold on that patio furniture? That looked so nice. I'm so excited about that. Actually, this reminds me, we did a field trip of sorts. We hosted one of our events in Michelle's store to give you an idea. And maybe this will be something as COVID, as we're kind of released and things start to open up again. Michelle, I would love so much to do that, to get people into your store. And we did little education pieces. So those of you that remember when we did that, Michelle?
Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was a lot of fun. And I think it gives people a good idea of, as you walk around, you kind of say, oh, I have one of those, or I have that. It might be tucked in my basement somewhere. I haven't used it for years. And all of a sudden you start thinking, wow, I've got, stuff sitting around that could bring extra dollars in for a new decorating project.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, I'm sensing a feeling that we may be able to do a field trip again soon, because I would love that. Your store is so big that we certainly would be able to social distance. So I think definitely we may be onto something, but here's the thing. Not only is it a great time to sell your house, but like Michelle says, selling your upscale home furnishings is in high demand too. So take your pictures, send them to Michelle, let her give you some insight on what that means, right? Because it's a great way to be able to sell your home furnishings that are just sitting around, like Michelle said. So thank you, Michelle, so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it is my turn now to talk to you. And again, as we opened up this evening, one of the greatest things that we have learned as agents, that as you're going through this process, that getting rid of your stuff is one of the greatest challenges that we face. And so I have the opportunity to share with you my presentation. And I have to tell you, when I start it here, when I was putting this together, I said to my friend that was helping with this, it's like, I like that phrase, breaking up with stuff is hard to do. And it's like, I've heard that over and over again. And then when I was talking with Libby, it's like, that's where that came from. That's why it's such a good phrase. So that's what the title of my little presentation startup here is. And I don't know, Brandon, can they see the full thing, or are they just seeing all of us? Perfect. There we go. So it is true. If you've heard anything tonight, it's kind of coining this phrase that Libby Patrick has, that breaking up with stuff is hard to do, which is why we're all coming to you tonight and sharing some of the ideas. You all know that this is part of our DownSize Columbus Transition Tuesdays. Kathy Chiero is our team lead, and we are all agents at the Keller Williams Greater Columbus office here in Central Ohio. Our actual office is located in Easton, but those of us that are on the team, you see there's all of us there in that center picture. We are located throughout the city. We have, just literally all over on the outskirts of Franklin County. Some of us are in Franklin County, and so we are here to service you in any way that we can. One of the things that I want to talk to you about is this idea, because what you're hearing from all of these folks this evening is that a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. And I think that that's where so many of us get caught up in planning, is making this plan, is that they think that it has to be perfected. They think that they have to make sure that they've got all the points, but literally you just have to have a plan, and you've got to be the one that's making the plan. We're here to help you, here to direct you, but a good plan today is better than one that you don't start, right? And so here we go. We've got all of these ideas of all this stuff that goes together with the whole idea of decluttering, what you're going to keep, what you're going to recycle, what you're going to trash. We talked about selling, the donating, and all of those things have been dealt with this evening. And so here's 2 tips of enemies that we deal with in this process. The number 1 enemy of decluttering is just simply that procrastination. And then number 2 is dealing with those excuses, right? We all have excuses as to why we don't want to start. Well, here we come up with the top 10 excuses, right? I'm going to start tomorrow. How about this? There's many of you, when we come out and we talk to you in your home, that your response is that the kids are going to want my stuff. And I'm here to tell you, the kids don't want your stuff. They just simply don't want it. Maybe you have stated that it's very valuable and I'm not going to donate it or give it away. Maybe that's where we bring Chris or somebody like Michelle in that can help you to get some money from those items. Someone can use it. So maybe there's someone that you think that you can repurpose it for. That actually is not a bad strategy. And that's something that maybe Libby can help you with. A lot of people just don't want to throw it away. I will use it someday, that non-existent time period hypothetical thing that may never come to pass. Yeah, I'll use it someday. It's kind of like the adage that people say, tomorrow never comes, right? Free crab tomorrow. Have you guys ever seen that on a building? Free crab tomorrow never comes. Same with someday and getting rid of your stuff. It's too overwhelming. This is what we know to be actual truth. And that's why we put on seminars like this to assist you in how to do this, how to start this process. How about this? It's my spouse's stuff. I can't do anything about it. Well, we have tips on that too, but we won't go into that. Not right now anyway. And how about I'll just put it in the basement or in the garage, etc. Well, the thing is that someday somebody is going to have to deal with it. And here's the thing, right? If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for somebody that you love, because eventually somebody is going to have to deal with everything that we have in our homes. So here's the question. What is your problem area? What do you struggle with getting rid of? This is one of those things that when we come out and we meet with you, we will help you to identify that. We have lots of great solutions as to help you. You're learning about several of those this evening. But I know that for some people, we may deal with things like paper and magazines and newspapers. We talked about collections. Clothing is one. Just again, having an excess of too much stuff. So here's a funny little cartoon for us. Here is they're peering into their pantry. I'm assuming it's kind of a large pantry. Don't you agree? I have no clue when all of this expires, or why do we have 18 cans of garbanzo beans, right? I mean, who needs 18 cans of garbanzo beans unless you like making your own hummus dip? Here's some easy tips for decluttering. You want to start with one room. And what we know is that sometimes it is overwhelming to start just one room. So here's what we suggest. Start with one table, with one closet, or like I said, the pantry. Even if you start with looking at, and we may need magnifying glasses to see those expiration dates, but even if you start there and you are then reorganizing your pantry just by getting rid of your expired things in your pantry. Here's another great tip for you. Take a plastic trash bag, and there's two approaches that you can do with this. You can either fill it up with trash, or you can fill it up with items to donate. I personally think that the trash piece is a lot easier because typically you normally don't have an emotional attachment to the things that just simply need to be discarded because it's trash. And then here's the real true tip is when that bag is full, you're going to immediately take it to your car. Now, probably not the trash part of that, but the items that you're going to donate, you want to immediately get it out, put it in your car, because there's a lot of places in Columbus that will actually take your donations. Here's another great tip. Make a habit of never leaving your home without a bag or trash of items to donate. So really, truly what you're doing here is this is a new lifestyle that you're creating. This idea of living minimalist lifestyle where you are always in, and depending on where you are in this process, right? What your goal is. Are you moving? Are you relocating? Just like Libby said, some of you may just be ready to eliminate so that you can enjoy where you are right now. Be creative. If it means a lot to you to repurpose it to someone else that will love it. That video that Chris Davis plays on repurposing dining room tables and things like that gets me every time. And we realize that sometimes dealing with the emotional side of things is what stops people. So let's come up with a creative way in which you can repurpose it. I've heard a lot of amazing stories over the years of how people have seen it repurposed. I've met with a gal and she had all kinds. This was very pre-COVID. This was before everything had been shut down. She had all of this amazing scraps of material. And when I went out to meet with her about organizing her home, I said, what would you think about donating this so that somebody could make face masks? She lit up and was so excited to think that material that she had could be repurposed and used for that. And she was just so excited. So I left her home that evening with boxes full of material, and someone took those and made masks. And she felt really good about donating that. Also, here's something to keep in mind. You only need one or a set of most things. If you have two, somebody else could probably use it. If we go back and think about DownSize Columbus, if you were with us, I know that there were several people that were talking about they have a problem with plastic silverware. And again, that may be one of those things that you just need to let go of, right? Or you need to figure out a way that we can repurpose that. How about visiting your unseen spaces? This is where your basement or your attic comes into play. And truthfully, if something's been in a box, it's been on a shelf, or it's been hidden from your view for over a year, get rid of it. There's no need. Somebody said, well, yeah, but I need to go through that box. I said, why? Do you really need to do that? Again, this is part of the process that I think Libby can help you with. How about this? Schedule a pickup. Simply, they're always calling. Aren't they calling these days and putting postcards in the mail to us? A lot of times I'm knowing now that they don't even call to confirm. You just literally put your stuff out on the porch and tape that postcard to it. They'll come and get it. So here, schedule your pickup and then find something to give away, right? How about, this is another great one. I love this. Use the holidays to clear the home. So when you have family, kids coming back to visit you, send them home with their stuff. How many of them have created little trinkets and treasures when they were in kindergarten, and maybe we've held on to those collections? I know that I have a box of those things. And here's that emotional side of that. If they don't want it, throw it away or give it away. Now, I understand that with some of this, there may be some counseling sessions that are needed, but we can help you with that too. Here's another cartoon here. It says, you don't know what you got until you move. Isn't that the truth? I think that it is so shocking for so many of us just how quickly things can accumulate. And again, there's lots of tips and lots of practices that we can put in place. But here's the thing. You've got to get help, right? You really need a third party, somebody that is not emotionally attached, and somebody that's willing to be honest with you. And so that's my pointing finger. It's like you need somebody to say, do you really need all that plastic silverware? Or what if we donated that to the homeless shelter? Or what if we, coming up with being honest with you? You got to do your part. So again, it's do your part, right? Pointing your finger, do your part. Start with your stuff, with your room, with your space, items of which you determine where it goes. So this kind of goes back to the spouse comment there. Start with your stuff first. That is a great place. And then here's what you have to realize. That clock is ticking, and you need to recognize that the day will actually come when it's no longer your choice. And I think that sometimes brings a lot more added stress to us, right? Get rid of the trash to make room for the treasures. This is what Peter Walsh tells us. And by the way, the things are rarely things, they're people. And so wouldn't you rather focus on the relationships and the things that really have meaning in your life than the stuff that we have and that we've collected over the years? So let's look at this window of opportunity that we have. When we are in our 50s and 60s, most of us can handle the work of decluttering, all of these little tips and tricks that we're talking about. Age 60 to 70, physically, it may become more challenging or difficult to move, to pack, to bring things up from the basement, to sort. And then when we're looking at reaching 70s, most people just simply can't do it. And then there again, is that question of who will do it. And we've seen a lot of things, a lot of relationships be strained. Look, it's no secret if you guys have watched the Hoarder Show on one of the cable networks. I'm not even sure which one, but did you ever notice that most hoarders, and really to be classified as a hoarder is not what we typically see? And maybe some of you are like, well, you haven't been to my house. Let me just say that most hoarders actually live in Ohio. Have you noticed that on those shows? Decluttering a home is physically, it's mentally, and it is emotionally difficult, as we've talked so many times this evening. And it gets more difficult as we age. So here is the call to action. You need to start, and you need to start today. Today is the day to start. Many of you know that Kathy has written a great book, Got Stuff, Get Help, which is, we've coined this our Transition Tuesday event topic also. This was Kathy's COVID project, right? So she has put together a 100-page book, a resource book of decluttering businesses and nonprofit organizations that actually want your stuff. And so it's just a wonderful resource. It's one that I find myself going to often and sharing with people often. There are tips in here from Peter Walsh. Those of you that have been around our DownSize events, he came and spoke to us pre-COVID last year, but he has got a lot of information, tips in here, and I would encourage you all to go a little deeper with that. He's got a great book that's called Let It Go, so check that out. And then also our very own Kathy Chiero, she's got a wonderful blog called House Call, that is just dealing with downsizing and life in real estate. It's a wonderful tool also to educate yourself about this. Of course, if you would like, you can get the Got Stuff, Get Help book, $30 plus tax and shipping. You can go to our DownSize Columbus page and register for that, or have that book sent to you. But here's the thing. It all starts with a plan. And so the plan is, right, it can begin with us. We would love to put our 100+ years of experience to work for you. We are realtors. We've done this hundreds of times. And we would love to help you come up with your own specific plan. We are the Kathy Chiero Group at Keller Williams. And we would love to invite you to check out some of these other resources. And Brandon is going to play a video for us right now.
Got too much stuff? Of course you do. Downsizing expert Kathy Chiero brings you Got Stuff, Get Help, the complete guide to the who to, where to, and how to of getting rid of stuff. This easy-to-use reference book features over 100 pages of Columbus-based businesses and nonprofit organizations. Sell it, donate it, toss it, organize it. It's all here. New York Times best-selling author Peter Walsh offers his decluttering tips, and Kathy shares her insights from years of helping homeowners just like you. Read the stories of local business owners, find value in the things you were going to throw away, and be encouraged to start your own journey to a simpler life. Get your copy today. Got Stuff? Get Help. The book is $30 plus tax and shipping. Order your copy today at downsizecolumbus.com. Look for the Got Stuff, Get Help link.
Jill, we can't hear you, dear.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
This is a wonderful resource for you. This is a great place to start. It'll give you some insight as to where to begin to manage all of the extra stuff. Again, we would love the opportunity to come out and to talk to you about getting a plan. I know that these people that you've heard this evening would also love to help you manage those things in your life that needs to be managed, right? Needs to be gotten rid of, or to be allocated someplace else, repurposed someplace else. What we want to do is we want to get to your questions, so we'll do that in just a moment. But one of the things that I want to share with you, we've got some handouts. I think that there was another handout. I know that I've got a couple of decluttering challenges that are available in the resource section that you can download, or we'd be happy to send those out to you. We also want to invite you to our upcoming events. And Brandon, if you can put those up for us so that everybody can see those. These are our additional Transition Tuesdays that are coming in the following weeks.
Unfortunately, that slide is unavailable, and the events are on downsizecolumbus.com. Awesome.
I know we were having trouble with getting that downloaded, but yes, we've got some other events that are coming up the next several Tuesdays. The next one, I believe, Mary, you can probably help me out with this too, is May 4th.
It absolutely is. I'll go over them real quick, Jill, if that's okay.
I'd love
the next upcoming Transition Tuesday is on May 4th, and it is our legal Transition Tuesday. And on that one, we will talk about wills and trusts and which kids do I trust the most. So that'll be an interesting one. Then May 18th is our residential. And on that one, we're going to answer, what is my home worth? And what can I do to make it worth more? And then our last Transition Tuesday is on June the 1st on financial. And it's about, I don't need $1 million, but I need enough. How can I maximize what I have in retirement? So as Jill said, you can go right to our DownSize Columbus, and you can register for all those events. And all the remaining 3 events like this one will also be virtual.
Yes. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for that. Mary, are you going to go through and answer our questions for folks that have been putting those things in the chat? And there's still time. You can still do that if you haven't done that yet.
I sure can. I was looking down through here, and several of them have been answered as we went along. Janet does ask, can she purchase the book somewhere other than online? And I know Jill's going to touch on that a little bit. I won't steal her thunder on the book, so we may need to get back to that. So I won't steal Jill's thunder. But Chris, it looks like the questions that are on here yet that still do need to be answered are for you. So Chris, maybe if you could turn on your mic and your camera. Tricia would like to know, are there certain items that are easier to auction? Example, furniture, collections, etc.
Yeah, so, and forgive me, I just now figured out where the chat button was, so I see the questions.
It's okay.
So for you folks who are waiting for a response, I apologize. But it's, the things that today sell in an auction environment lean more toward utilitarian. And I think that's, just because they have a function and a place. The collections that are taking place, interestingly enough, where I think the growth in the collectible world is a little bit of a resurgence in some of the China. Sterling is what it is and sells really well. Anytime you get into precious metals, those are really, really good. But it's interesting, that you see today the younger generation begin to collect. So if you have any Pokemon cards or Transformer toys or anything that would speak to the generation that were children in the 1990s and in the 2000s now, then those are hot, hot, hot. And so we see record prices today for trading cards. And again, things like Pokemon, if you can imagine, are off the charts. So just kind of interesting. So hopefully that helps. You want me to answer the rest of these questions on chat, or you want me to just talk about these, Mary?
No, I can. We'll go ahead and I'll ask him, and that way maybe somebody else. That sounds good. Linda wants to know, what about masks? How are masks honored when buyers come to the home to pick up?
So when we come to the home, we actually have a process where today everybody pays online before they come, and when they get there, you have to have a mask on. You have to social distance. There are challenges in that some folks, I think, adhere strictly to those requirements, and some try to stretch the rules a little bit. And so it's a challenge to police them all. But for the most part, we keep that in control. They don't come in the house most of the time. We have some sellers who are selling properties or real estate that it really is not an issue. So for the most part, when they come to pick things up, our staff carries those things out of the house and sets them down. Same is true with the warehouse. So if you come to the warehouse and you pick up from an auction pickup, you're going to check in. We're going to bring your things out and set those on a table for you. We're masked up, if that's a word, masked up, and you're masked up as well, just so that we, practice, I think, what would be just good, our responsible behavior. Okay. So, yep, we try to do the best we can, yes.
Sounds wonderful, Chris. And the last question I see here for you, Chris, and I think you may have answered it, but I'll ask it just to be safe. How much money does Auction Ohio take as a percentage of the sale?
Yeah, someone asked me one time, says, how much do you charge? And I said, all of it, but I don't know that that's the right answer. And it's not. I'm a little bit sarcastic, I guess. But here's what we try to do to try to price it appropriate to the job. And it's going to range anywhere from a 10% commission. There might be things that come into the warehouse that are going to push closer to 50% in commission. And it really does depend on what it is. And there are some things that we have sold that we've, been able to even reduce that commission less than 10%. But we're talking about, heavy equipment, where we're selling $100,000 and $200,000 pieces of equipment that's reduced somewhere into that 5% range. So whatever's appropriate, right? So sterling silver, as a rule, we're probably somewhere in precious metals across the board, but we're probably somewhere in that 20 to 25% range, depending on how much of that you have. If it's a lot of furniture and a lot of lifting and a lot of labor, then naturally, that changes the program, and think about it even in our world at the warehouse. If it takes up a lot of room, it's a lot of furniture. Sometimes that is a reason that we might look at a different commission structure as well. But we try to keep it appropriate.
Perfect. And then it looks like, Chris, you're popular at the moment here, as always. But let's see. Linda asked here, and what is the best way to get rid of very specific items, maybe not speaking to the general public?
So very specific items. I'm trying to think artwork, and I'm trying to think of some right things to have this conversation about. What our first goal, and there's no charge for us to come out and to walk through and look with you. But there are times where there are things that the marketplace is not readily available in a 7 or a 14-day time frame. And artwork is certainly one of those that it's a purchase that's based on emotion most of the time. That's why a gallery, I think, measures a certain number of visits before a piece of art is purchased by a buyer. And that's just because they have to fall in love with the art. They have to see it several times before maybe that speaks to them in a way that would cause them to buy it. So there are times where certain pieces of art are really going to be better sold in an environment that allows time, a bigger window of time for the market to be realized. Outside of artwork today, there are things that are regional. There's things that sell better in other states. And so I would use this example. If we're selling rookwood, if we're selling pottery that's native to Ohio, so Weller and Roseville and Hall and those things, our market's really, really strong. If you were selling those things in other states, they wouldn't be near as strong as they are because they're local to us. The same thing is true with some certain pieces of art or categories or genres that are really better sold in some other parts of the country. So we struggle sometimes in some markets that are really just related to a different part of the country. If you looked at Southwest art, there's some artists that they are really in high demand there. And it doesn't mean we don't reach those buyers, but what it means is that if the cost to ship the piece is measurable, if it's big enough in expense or cost, then it's going to hold back someone's ability to buy it if it's being shipped from here to there. So I hope that helps.
That helps. A couple more questions for you, it looks like, Chris. What about tools? And I'm just going to group a couple of these together. What about tools? And then furniture that was purchased in Asia.
Oh, yes, tools. Well, tools, it's changing a little bit, right? So the tools that I used and the tools that my parents used had a power cord that you plugged in, right? Electricity. So today they don't. They have this thing that you charge and you plug into the bottom of it and it runs, and everyone likes that new yellow, right? They like the color. It's kind of like if you're going to buy farm equipment, everyone likes the John Deere green. Well, this DeWalt thing seems to have a bit of a preference for a lot of folks. And so what happens is we look at things that are functionally obsolete. It doesn't mean they don't work and function, but if they're older circular saws and if they're older pieces of tools, they might not work as well today as they did at one time, or they're not in demand as much today as they were at one time. Still a market for them, right? But everyone has a preference, and the latest and the greatest, and the new tools do a much better job. Oriental or Asian furniture, that market, we have still a fairly strong suit. And Michelle, I don't know if you can speak to that a little bit in your world, what you see. We've seen a little bit of a challenge in the past 4 to 5 years, the black lacquer, and we look at some of that Asian influence. There's still some value, but I think that's a very defined market, at least in my world. Michelle, how do you speak to that in your world? What do you see?
I would agree with you, Chris. I would say, maybe smaller accent pieces would be a bit easier because not so much the big substantial pieces we don't have so much of a market for, but always that kind of smaller chest or something like that would be I think is still sellable.
Right. I tend to agree. And as a general rule, anyhow, I think accent pieces, smaller pieces of furniture, how we live in homes today is far different than we used to. So great big massive entertainment centers with wing bookcases, I don't know what you do with those other than you separate them and piece them out somewhat separate, right? So flat screen TVs did away with entertainment centers. They just don't function. If you look at a billiards table, it costs as much to move the billiard table as it might sell for in some cases. And so we play gaming different. Our kids and grandkids play with this little stick about that long and they move it around Wii or something, right? And we look at gaming on our phones today, right? It's changed as far as what the traditional rec room used to be for ping pong tables and all of those things. Now, some of those things are collectible, right? So if you have pinball machines and if you have, one-armed bandits that used to be maybe somewhat kind of a great prize that you would keep in your rec room, those are very, very collectible. That's a different conversation.
Mm-hmm. Chris, another question on here for you is, do you sell in lots?
Yes, sometimes. So
Okay.
what's appropriate, I think, when we talk about a lot is there are some things when we work through a house or things come into the warehouse that should be sold separately, should be separated and sold piece at a time. And so that's appropriate based on what those items are. So you talk about, certain things of porcelains and pottery and jewelry and sterling, those things, appropriate to be sold, piecemeal. But there are times where you have to group things together. And so when you look at the price point for us, it needs to be at about $20 in value before someone's going to come pick it up or pay to ship it. So what that means is that today, if you were going to sell a Hummel figurine, or if you were going to sell, I'm just using this as an example, right? There's other categories, but Hummels and Goebbels that used to sell one at a time for $20, today you're probably selling 2, 3, or 4 of those today at $20 in value. So you have to group them in groups that allow the buyer to buy those things and then it be worth their while to pay to ship them or to come pick those items up. So pots and pans, think about that for a minute. You can't sell one pan at a time, group those things together. Or if you're selling hand tools, you're probably going to put some hand tools together to make it a sizable enough lot that it's attractive to the marketplace.
Okay, wonderful. And I think this is kind of going to group back to either Michelle or Chris, and I'm sure you can both maybe just touch on this kind of quickly. Several people have asked in here, like collections of Pokemon cards or old China pieces. I'm sure that both of you, when you meet with the people, you advise. Their question is they're wanting to know, they have no idea what they're worth. I'm sure you can advise them. You can, advise them on how to price. Is that correct, both of you?
Yes, as far as any items that we accept into our store, we always take as much information that we can from the seller as far as where it was purchased from, the age, anything they know about it, if they know the purchase price. We do a lot of research online to figure out what the retail selling prices, and then we have a historical database of 11 years of what similar items have sold for here. So that helps us establish our selling prices, so we can always help people with pricing of items. As far as just quoting prices of items, we don't just offer a pricing service. If you're consigning with us, we're happy to do that. But as far as just general, what's something worth, an appraisal service, I should say, we don't have that in our store.
Yeah. Chris, did you want to say something on that too?
No, I just was going to say, and I think what we can do is talk to or speak to, is it something, first of all, that we have, the marketplace that's going to buy those things, and that's what Michelle's speaking to. And so, and it's not that if someone calls and says, can you come through and tell me what all of my stuff is worth? Certainly we can do that, but that's a different service. That's an appraisal service. But when we talk about certain patterns of China, and we talk about certain collectibles, then when we're walking through the home, then we can address those things that are of demand and those things that are not. And, it's just collector plates and Beanie Babies. And although I'm going to tell you one other thing, Beanie Babies, the original 8 are coming back. You want to just be shocked. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't know what I'm going to do when Beanie Babies are highly collectible again. Because I don't know. But here's what I would tell folks to do. If you really want to be curious about something, there's enough sites that you can get online yourself and look. And here's my only advice. Listen carefully, right? If you go to eBay and you type in whatever it is that you have, do not look at what people are asking for those things on eBay, because less than 3% of what's on eBay sells. So what you want to do to the left is you want to scroll down and filter what has sold, and then that's the eye opener, right? Because people can ask anything they want for those things, but what they really sell for is what you're after. What is the real market value for those things? So that's my only 2 cents.
Chris, that kind of reminds me of how we as realtors feel about Zillow. It's like, don't go to Zillow to get the price value of your home, right? I think that, again, this may be because I am so excited about maybe the world that we're living in now opens up a little bit, but I don't know, maybe there's another kind of a field trip event here that I'm seeing that because of some of the people in the chat are putting these questions in, maybe we have some kind of a antique roadshow kind of an event where people can bring stuff in. That would be a fun thing to do, and have people bring their, of course you can't bring your dining room table and things like that, but maybe those little things to see what kind of stuff you have.
That'd be cool, Jill. What you could do is do it on Zoom, right? So they could take a picture, somehow send us the picture, and then we could post the picture and talk about the item. And so they would be in attendance on Zoom, and we could speak to whatever it is they send us the picture of. That would be cool.
That's a great idea. Love it. Love it.
Everyone, I want to thank you for all of your questions tonight, and anything that hasn't been answered, I think we've tried to answer them. All of the speakers this evening will see this chat, and I'm sure they will be more than happy to get in touch with you. And the last one I'm going to go into will key up Jill. Can the book be purchased somewhere other than online, Jill?
Yes, well, actually, it can't be purchased, but we can certainly bring it to you as our gift to you. For coming to your home and setting an appointment with us so that we can come in and just really go another step further with you. Of course, there's no obligation, but we would just love to meet with you, to talk with you about the next step. And as a gift for allowing us to come and visit you, we will bring that book to you as our gift. So again, we are so grateful for your time. We look forward to you joining us at another Transition Tuesday event that's coming up. And I want you all to put this on your calendars. October 31st of 2021, we are planning on having a big blowout Halloween costume party where we're going to get rid of all of our masks. We're going to, hopefully that's where we're going to be at that place. But we are planning our October 31st DownSize event to be in person, and it's going to be a costume party. So put that on your calendar and sign up. You can go to DownSizeColumbus.com to register because it does fill up quickly. So we look forward to seeing you all again, and have a great evening.